Oh my gosh, what is going on, IK Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and today we are going to be killing it so softly and yet at the same time strongly. I cannot wait to start today's video. We are going to be doing a full breakdown for every single KvK2 group that is coming up. We're going to show you what the true activity alliance power comparisons are, how many active alliances are, and then we're going to show you the top 5 strongest players from each of the servers, and then also do some very interesting other comparative stats, right? Kind of looking at how other groups are matching up, possibly trying to discern and figure out how IK went about doing groupings as well from some of the data that we pulled. So I am pretty excited, right? There is a lot to go over. Before we start, as always, make sure you guys sub, like, ring that notification bell. And of course, if you want to join our conversation, you can hit up our Discord, which you'll find in the description, and pin comment down below. First thing I want to start off is that there will be title cards of the video. So if you just want to go and look at your KvK group and what I went over for overview assessment, my thoughts and opinions, you can click the timestamp or just look at the bottom of the screen to find where you want to go. This part, I'm just really going to kind of explain how I went about pulling some of the data, which I'm going to show you here in a moment. But before we do that, I do just want to show you the pools and the groups themselves, right? So I'm on my Scout account, so if we need to go ahead and take a look at any servers, then we can. I think right now we're in server 99, yeah, because that was the last one that I pulled. So let's just first and foremost show you guys the groups so we can have that as a starting point, right? So we have here KvK2, there are 12 groups of 8. Right, so we're looking at 96 servers that are here. Again, no one's in prep. We're all matchmaking. And you can see, I think there's about a day left. Let me just confirm here on my main. I think that's what it was. Yeah, so there's a day and I think 7 hours is what they have it at. Yes, there's a day and 7 hours left until Season 2 starts. So we're going to give you all the goodies and more before we get started. Now, as we take a look real quick just at some of the groupings here, you can see in Group 1, right, we got 1, 3, 13, 18, 24, 25, 26, and 28. In Group 2, we have 2, 4, 9, 10, 11, 15, 17, and 19. Interesting. And then we have Group 3, 5, 6, 7, 22, 23, 27, 33, and 37. Group 4, this is 8, 12, 14, 16, 20, 21, 36, 58. Group 5, 31, 32, 33, 34, 42, 44, 49, 51, 53. Group 6, 30, 35, 40, 46, 50, 52, 55. Group 7, 29, 38, 45, 48, 54, 63, 82, 84. I'm just saying numbers at this point. Group 8, 39, 41, 43, 47, 57, 59, 61, 70. Group 9, almost done. 62, 64, 65, 68, 69, 73, 75, 81. Group 10, 60, 66, 74, 76, 77, 80, 83, 85. Second to last, Group 11, 72, 78, 79, 88, 91, 95, 97, 98. And then the last group is 67, 71, 86, 87, 90, 94, 96, 99. Whew. All right. Going to have to get some agua after that one. All right. Fantastic. So we've covered all the groups at a face value. Now let's go ahead and we're going to show you some of the data here as well. Now, I want to point out that you're going to be able to see a little bit more than usual just because of the way that I have it set up. But I think it's going to be a little better overall so we can kind of point out some of the quality information. So let's go ahead and pull this down. We'll head over here. All right, so here is the big bonanza that we have right now. All right, so this is all the data that we pulled. Before I really dive into everything, right, we're going to be focusing on one group at a time. And before we do that, right, let me just kind of give you some information on how I pulled the data, right? So we went into each server, and I'll give you an example here if I can. Let me just go back here to my Scout. And essentially what we did is we go in, right, we'll look at what is the alliance power, and is the alliance power relevantly scaled based on the age of the server, how many potential active players are there, active alliances, right? We'll look at faction power to see, okay, well, what alliances are getting cities, what alliances still have cities, because typically if your faction power is higher, that most likely means that your alliance is active or you're being redistributed cities for KvK, right? Because that's something that usually happens for prior. Then we'll also look at things like alliance level, right? Is that alliance level a little bit higher based on probably where it should be for age of the server, which means that people are actively donating, right? So that's another way to gauge. Then we can also take a look, for example, at something like strongest true power or castle level, right? Are there players in those alliances that are higher leveled, right? That kind of gives an indication that they're still playing. We can look at things like world chat. For example, is there anyone from any of those alliances that has been talking, right? Because you can go 2 to 3 like refresh cycles back before it stops in world chat, so you can kind of look at it like that as well. So those are just some of the areas that we factored into when we're looking at which alliances are active for what we put on the sheet. And then we have that, so this is more of what I would consider to be like a true active alliance power, right? Or you could even argue like a true server power, so to speak. But for now, we'll just say it's a true active alliance power going into KvK, along with showing you the top 5 strongest true power players. So let's go ahead and break down KvK Group 1 now, finally. So for Group 1, right, we have 26, 25, 28, 13, 18, 1, 24, and 3. Here, in Group 1, we have, you can see here, right, the most active alliances is for S25 and S18. Least active is 1, 24, and 3. Okay? Now we have alliance power. Now, the cool thing here is, I don't know how it worked out, but it sorted this data based on alliance power when I went off of KvK group, so I thought that was pretty cool. It kind of did it for us already, which is very ideal, and I'm really happy that it did. But you can see here, right, that from top down you got S26, right, which is strongest based on true alliance activity power. Again, most alliances though for 25, 296 there, and then 285, 279, 154, 101, 82, 51. So again, you can see here like who's kind of more at the top, right? Who has active alliances. What I would foresee if you're trying to get, and I'm just going to comment briefly on what I think would be like a fair even matchup, right? Based on kind of the numbers that we're seeing. You could do something like 1-3, 2-4, right? You can go like every other. So you could do like 1-3, 5, 7, right? And then you go 2, 4, 6, 8. That could be something that could work out there. It'll be interesting, though, to obviously see what some of the pairings are. I don't know if anyone has really... It's hard to kind of find that information publicly on who is allied up unless they've really talked about it beforehand. And then let's look at true power, right? So even though 26 has the strongest, right, overall alliance power, 25 has the most active alliances at their highest true power, alliance power. You have S28 that has the strongest individual player here at 304,823. I think this is Blink too, if I remember correctly. So you have that right there, and then the next strongest player is from 26 at 277. But you even have S28 that probably could challenge that because their second strongest true player is at 271. Right, so that's just something to consider as well, right? Being able to potentially challenge that. But then you can see here that when you're kind of going pound for pound, if you're comparing 28 versus 26, right, 304 has an advantage over the 277. 276 has a little bit of an advantage, but you could argue this is kind of a stalemate, closer to a stalemate here, 264 to 262, 260, 262, and then 258, 259. So, again, pretty closely even. Number one, obviously, probably has a very high chance of outbeating, or at least having an advantage, right, of outperforming 26 is number one. But then you get into some of the other alliances, right? Next strongest here is from 24 at 267. So that's something to factor in because, again, at least the 267 could challenge probably the number 3, maybe arguably the number 2, right? Just depending on what the March is and how the matchup looks for that. And then you can kind of see on the lower end, right, for some of the bubble positions, right, 259, 258, right, respectively for 26 and 28. And then the next lowest bubble position, which is pretty close here, is 13, right, 240. So again, right, you're looking at decent true powers here going in, right. The lowest, strongest player is at 228 from 18. But once that happens, right, but beyond that, it's 245, 247, 252, right? It starts getting a little bit closer until you kind of get to some of those outliers with 28 and then 26, respectively. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how the groups match up, right? Will people try and go or gravitate towards, right, some of the stronger alliances, right? Are we going to see unions form that kind of go for even matchups? Are we going to see people just gravitating more towards, hey, I just want to partner or ally up with the strongest server? So we'll see. Okay, now let's get into KvK Group 2. here, which is, I'm going to do this so I can kind of keep the information a little hidden. So KvK Group 2, here we go. We have 19, 4, 15, 9, 17, 10, 11, and 2. Okay? And active alliances here, no more than 2. So you can see 1 to 2 for how it is. And this is somewhat consistent if you look at Group 1, right? 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, and then 1, 1, 1's at the bottom. It's very similar, right? 1, 1, 2, 1, right? But then 2's at the top. So again, when we're looking at comparing groups, right, that's something to kind of just keep in mind for how they're doing that. Now, for KvK Group 2, right, this is, again, not necessarily what we'd consider to be like the top KvK group, right, based on just kind of overall power, which that would have been cool to do. I don't know why I didn't think about doing that now that it's coming to my mind. That'll be something for next time, where I'll do the combined power for each of the KvK groups, and then we'll try and order like, hey, here's KvK, here's like the premier KvK group, like the first card on the fight. Or first fight on the card. That's what I meant. But anyways, we have 186, 183, 167, 144, 135, 134, 122, 88 mil. Okay, so now we look at strongest troop power. So you got from server 9, 285. God, I'm totally forgetting. I can't remember if this is Mahal Nari or another. It probably is, and I'm just forgetting the name. But then you got 290 here, right, from server 11. And I think that's Johnny. From server 11, if I remember that correctly. Johnny, yes, papa. This is what my girls do to me when I'm in the car. And so, anyways, so we got 290, 285 for the peak troop powers there for number 1s, going there from 11 to 9. Now, most of you probably may know this already, but right, a lot of the active players and top players from the top alliance in 9 and 11 ended up going to 57. Right, to do kind of a merge project or migration project going there, so to speak, though it was more of just groups going in, and that's where they are now, which is why, you're only seeing a few active alliances, but it may not necessarily have been more than 2 respectively. I think it was at 1.2 and 11, but now being 1. So now you look at how some of the matchups look, and again, the combined overall power is a little bit lower, so I think for the most part, right, when you have less active alliances, and by extension of that, less active players, this is a KvK, in my opinion, where whales, the heavy spenders, are really going to have more possibilities, right? Rather than if you're in a KvK group that has a lot of active alliances, you have a lot of active players, regardless, even if you have some standout whales there, you have a bigger opportunity for more players to get involved because you have more active alliances, right? And because of that, also more general higher activity. So I think in this KvK group, to me, my thought would be, players here from 9 and 11, right? Some of these top guys are probably going to be able to have a little bit more of their way and fun in this group when it just comes to individual pressure. But outside of that, right, again, a lot of these are pretty close. You could do the same thing, go 1, 3, 5, 7, 2, 4, 6, 8, right? And actually would be pretty close if that's what they decide to do. As far as low end on the troop power, right, lowest is 233. Highest, like we said, is 290. Right, which, if you look at it compared to Group 1, the lowest here is 212, 816, I think. So, again, almost, what is that, 15? No, gosh, I can't do math. 18, 23, right? So, about 23... No, I can't do math. 21. 21K troop power, a little bit higher. So again, minimum threshold, right? For at least if we're looking at the top 5 strongest troop power players, a little bit higher. So it'll be interesting to see how KvK2, ends up matching up. All right, let's look at 3. And all right, so here we go for KvK Group 3. Again, some higher power alliances here, right? Again, highest that we saw before is 335. Now we're seeing 469 from server 6. Shout out to BM, Silly, and the fam out there. And we got 6, 33, 23, 5, 27, 32, or 22, 37, and 7, right? Okay. So now you have, and again, notice the trends here, right? Very obvious trends that we're seeing, where you have 4 active alliances, 3 active alliances, 2, 2, and then 1, 1, 1, right? And it's kind of, it almost seems like, again, if the trend continues, you can see that the KvK groups are partially being built, right? At least from one factor of, right? How many active alliances are arguably in them? Maybe what's the combined true alliance power that we're seeing, right? So they try and have like a top half and a bottom half, right? And again, you can also see here, and actually it would be super interesting if I went off my top 25 list. We might do it. I might give you guys a special thing here at the end, where maybe we will do like some additional comparisons, where we'll look at the strongest server list that we just compiled, and then look at how many of the top 25 are in the same KvK groups, and did they do something to split that up? So maybe stay tuned for a special segment at the end. Okay, but let's get into this one so we can get you guys going. All right, 469 power, 469 mil, 425, pretty big margins here, right? Because then the next strongest is 225. If we look at the ones from above, 186, 183, all pretty close, 335, 296, 285, all very close, right? The next big dip was 279 to 154. But again, now we're seeing a big dip here. And remember, again, right, there's 96 servers. If the pool size was twice or three times as big, like it'll eventually be once we get into Conquest, these, numbers will start getting closer together, right? They're not going to be as wide of margins. They'll be closer over time. But it is interesting just to see. Now when we get into strongest troop power, right, we have 269 here from server 6, who has strongest troop power. Next strongest, actually, which is kind of funny, this almost kind of goes in order, but you got 259 from 33, 258 from 5, and then you got, which I think was one of the MG players, I can't remember the name, and then you got 254 from 23, 246, low end here is 207 from 37. Again, right, it'll be interesting to kind of see how these ones match up, right? You could make the same argument, right? 1, 3, 5, 7, and then kind of do the 2, 4, 6, 8. 4 active alliances in 6, right? 3 here in 33, 2, 2, and then you got the bottom 4 for 1s. So we'll be interesting to see how these match up as well. And if we're able to find out who kind of allies with who, I'll try and give you guys an update if I'm able to find out or get that information. I might just reach out to maybe a few of the top servers in each group and just ask like, hey, have you guys publicized this information yet? Right, and just kind of maybe give you guys some reporting there. Okay, let's look at the next group, which is going to be KvK Group 4. And here we have, right, which you could make the argument this could be, one of the top groups, right? This could be either 1 or 2 for, right, the top 1 or 2 KvK groups that are formed. So here, right, we got, of course, S8 at 642, S16 518, 21 365, 36, right, which was an old project server of mine, 227, 187, 137, 90, and 81, right? So we got strongest true power, though, coming from S21 at 291, right? And then we got second strongest at 281 here from server 16. And then I think this is Bunny here at 279, 941, right, for third strongest. And then fourth, who do we have here? 266, I think that's right. No, it's not. I apologize. 280. And excuse me, actually, third strongest is 280 from 16. And then it's 4 there for Bunny at S8. I had to remember that. And then we eventually get into, where's 5 here? 279, 280. Oh, wow. And then it would be, okay, wow. Then it'd be 279 here. So if you look at the minimum thresholds, right, 260, or sorry, what's lowest here is 220, 214 from 58. And then if we look pound for pound, right, kind of going 8 versus 16, right, very close, probably a little bit of an edge because that's a plus 17K. Here, you got a plus 21K, plus 25, plus 7. This is close-o, right? So you got 2 close matchups, 3 kind of advantage matchups, right, if you're going pound for pound when it comes to just 16, right, if we're just looking at the top 2 overall servers. When we look at the strongest true power, though, right, little bit of advantage. 10K difference isn't big, but it is decent, right? Plus 14K, right, so advantage kind of goes. So you have like 21, 16, and then 16, 16, 16, right, with advantage. But again, strongest true power player there in 21 for that KvK group. We'll see how the matchups go. But now we look at active alliances, right? You got 5, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1, right? So very similar trends here where it looks like they're factoring it off of, right, number of active alliances, possibly true alliance power that they're going off of for the KvK groups. And you can see just from the first 4 groups, it does look like they are attempting to, right, try and manually manage how the group may play out, right? By trying to kind of keep the matchups as fair as possible based on how many servers there are. So I appreciate that because, again, it doesn't look like it's random. There actually looks to be a little bit of method to the madness. Okay, now let's get into KvK Group 5. And again, a little bit lower power threshold here, but we got 319 for top, 92 mil for the lower. And again, very similar here, but a little more even. You can make the argument for active alliances 2, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and then 1 there at the bottom. Strongest troop power here is going to be 287 from server 31. And again, pretty strong from what they have here if you're just kind of looking across the board. If we go, let me get my match here. Right, so you look at 277, 281, right, goes down for the top 3, is all pretty consistent. Low end here is going to be, 214 from 53. And then you look at the top 2 strongest servers, right, if they're kind of going pound for pound, right, you have a little bit, it looks like an edge actually to server 49 over 32. But then if we look at, for example, server 31, right, plus 10K over there for number 1 compared to number 1 alliance, plus 14K, plus 20K, almost 20K, I should say. And then we got 260 plus 4, 258, right, plus 9. So again, right, a little bit of an edge out when you're just kind of looking at top 5, right? This group, I would say, again, whales and big spenders are probably going to be, again, no matter what, relevant. But there are a few more active alliances here than even in, I think, the first KvK group when we looked at that. So, again, we'll see, right, how much of an advantage and how much pressure they're able to apply in this KvK group. All right, let's move on to number 6. Oh, gosh, I'm going to try and make this video a little bit shorter, but it probably won't be. That's okay. We're halfway through. I actually feel like I'm decent time right now at around 21 minutes. Okay, so we got KvK Group 6, and this is, again, going to be a little bit of a kind of more middle-of-the-pack one, right? You can see here 3-3-2, 3-3-2-1, right? So a few more active alliances, right? This is going to be something that's probably going to have a little bit. There's no one that's really big, super, super big, I would say. Right, strongest troop power here is going to be from 56 at 275. You got 418 on the high end for alliance power. Low end is 83, right, from server 35. And we got 40, 52, 56, 46, 50, 55, 30, and 35 servers in this group. And then let's look at the low end. Low end here is actually 200K from server 30. And if we go pound for the top 2, right, alliance power is actually, for true alliance power, activity-wise, is actually not that bad. The drop only kind of really dips from, 2 to 3, sure, a little bit, but definitely more so here from 6 to 7. But if we look at pound for top 2, 260, 258, that's close, right? Plus 13K advantage there for 40, close enough. Plus 10K there for 40, and then plus 11K. Right. If we look at the strongest troop power, right, you're going, if you're just kind of comparing that 3 to 1, plus 15K, plus 6, but that's still pretty close. Plus 7, that's pretty close, right? Plus 4, that's still pretty close, and then plus 2. So again, we'll see how it looks, but numbers actually look pretty close when we're kind of looking across the board for some. Okay, now let's get over to KvK Group 7. So KvK Group 7. Now, KvK Group 7, again, this could go as 1 or 2, right, for the KvK groupings outside of where 8 is. And that's just because we do have currently the strongest server in the game, right, at 38. Coming in, 8 is number 2. And you can see just a huge power disparity here for alliance power, right? Even if we go back and we look at server 8 for their group at 4, right, again, 518, sure, they're stronger than 8, but this is, plus 130, 120, if I can do some math here, 124, right? If we go down here, right, this is arguably plus 360, God, if I can do some math here, 366, right? So that's almost double the plus from 1 to 2. And then, again, there's a good increase here from 2 to 3, and then it kind of evens out, right? So 1 and 2 are kind of the standouts. In this case, everyone just needs to band together against 38, right? Let's just declare that now. No, just joking. But it will be interesting to see kind of what 38 plans to do, right? Are they going to attempt to try and just kind of go 1v7 publicly against everyone and kind of have that maybe be a fun challenge for them? Are they going to try and maybe pair, right? I could even see them go pair with 84 and 63 and then just have, 2 through 5 or 2 through 6. right, pair up, so it kind of turns into a 5v3. That could be kind of cool to see if that happens. But even if you go pound for pound, which is interesting, you look at their top 5, even their number 5 at 272.68 for the troop power is still stronger than the next strongest, right, which is at 259 from server 54. So it will be interesting to see what happens, right? Is it going to be a pure 1v7? Will they maybe try and partner with the lowest ranked alliance, maybe 63? Maybe they'll do a 2v6. Maybe it'll be a 3v5. Right? Again, it'll be interesting to see how they play out, but 38 definitely has an overwhelming advantage here. And you can even see similar trend, right? When we not only we look at active alliances, right, for 6-4, 3-3-3, 2-2-1, right, very similar to group trends that we've been seeing. Same thing with alliance power, right? You can tell that they're really trying to kind of balance it out. And we'll take a look and compare strongest servers at the end for a really interesting view. Okay, now let's go ahead and we'll get to KvK Group 8. And let me not go too far down here so I can make sure to do my field gather there. Awesome. Okay. So now we got 57, 43, 47, 59, 61, 70, 41, 39 that we're looking at. And similar trend again, right? 3, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 1, right? And again, here, definitely some disproportion on the alliance power, right? When it comes to comparisons from others, right? 495, this is like what, a plus 224 increase. And then you kind of have some evening out here. So again, 57 with the advantage. You can even tell, right, and 57, remember, is where you ended up having some of the BXS and top players go from server 9 and 11, ended up going to 57. So that's why you even see this, right? Actually, similar situation to what we saw before with 38 versus their field, which is that 289 strongest true power, but then 266 on the low end for 57's number 5 is stronger than the second strongest player, which is from 47 at 258. So something of note there. And again, same thing. I just think everyone needs to band together against 57, right? Let's just declare it now. That's okay, right? Just, again, take the hard challenge. No, I'm just joking. But again, right, similar situation where, again, we'll see what 57 decides to do, right? Do they feel comfortable going against the field? Are they going to try and maybe ally up with maybe the bottom alliances? Maybe they'll kind of do the stronger, right? Again, I'm sure by now most of you know, right? My feelings on KvK is I am always for even matchups because I think that's where the group as a whole is going to get the most amount of enjoyment and players are going to be able to fight for the longest periods of time, right? I'm not really a fan of, in my opinion, kind of taking what I would consider to be like the easy way out, right? Where you just kind of have like the top 2 or top 3 servers in any group. Or even the top 4, right? Top 2 to top 4, just kind of ally up and say we're just going to run the field, so to speak. Now there are situations where you'll have something like that happen, but then they'll just do like a free for all in zone 3, and then just whoever ends up capping it, right? They do that just to kind of lower the amount of active servers in the field, right? Then they just kind of do their own Hunger Games battle royale competition in zone 3. Again, right, there's multiple ways that you can do it and play out a KvK depending on how you guys go about doing your KvK diplomacy. I'm just always like an even Stevens kind of a fan where I just like there to always be like a really awesome fair fight where you get the most amount of activity and engagement from all the servers and all the players in your KvK groups, right? So if you ever see me in a future KvK group, right, just know that, that's just how I like to do it. Again, I don't have any, feelings like I'm not going to be like shame on you or bad on anyone for doing something else, right? These are just my opinions on how I like to approach. All right, that covers KvK Group 8. Now let's go to KvK Group 9, and let's see here. All right, so we got 73, 75, 64, 69, 65, 68, 81, and then 62. And we have, okay, similar, right? 3, 2, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1. Again, power is actually a little bit closer here, right? 35, 273, right? So we're looking at a plus, 80, 78, give or take. And strongest player here is from 81 at 291 power. And then 280, 890 is second strongest from 75, actually pretty close to the second strongest in 81. And then if we do kind of pound for pound here for the top 2 servers, right, you got 75, Lega, plus 29. Here you got plus 21, plus 10, plus 10, plus 9, or plus 8.5, give or take, right? So again, more advantageous matchups here for like the top 3, right? Bottom 2 or number 4 or 5, right? A little bit closer, but still an advantage to 75. So it'll be interesting to see if that factors in or if the kind of active alliance power that 73 has, coming into 3 active alliances, right, or I should say up to, right, 3 active alliances, will play any factor into if they end up matching up against 75 or maybe with, right? But again, similar ranges that we're seeing, right, again, kind of showing there is some method to the KvK groupings being applied. Low end here is 210 from 64, and high end is 280 for the troop power. Okay, let's look at KvK group 10, and then we got, this is the third to last. And then let's look at 74, 666, 85, 60, 77, 83, 80, 76. And we got, okay, so 3. This is actually pretty active of a group. 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 3, 1. And alliance power is actually pretty close. This is actually what I would consider to be like a really good, kind of like low power gapped group for this KvK pairing. Now we look at strongest troop power, and we're looking at, what is this, 262? From 77. Low end is 193,799 from 80. If we look at pound for top 2 strongest servers, we have 261, right? So this is like, what, a plus 17, plus 6, a little bit closer at the number 2 spot. What is this? Plus 6, closer at the number 3 spot. Plus 3, going towards 66, close. And then we have a plus 6, right? So the only real standout is at the number 1 position comparatively. If we look at the strongest troop power server compared, right, close here, plus 4, plus 4, plus 7, and then plus 2, right? So kind of going like a 4-to-1 comparison, but in this case in favor of 77. So, okay, will be interesting to see how that plays out, right? Again, I actually think this is a great group for kind of doing the 1, 3, 5, 7, right? 2, 4, 6, 8, see how that plays out. Okay, awesome. Last 2 groups here. Let's go to group 11. And, all right. So we actually have a little bit lower of a threshold here, right? 537 for the average active alliance power, 153. And this is the first group I think that we have that we're looking at where they do not have the lowest, right? Where there's at least 2 alliances for the lowest powered server based on active alliances. And again, right, you can see here 79, 78, 97, 72, 95, 91, 88, 98, right? This actually could be like the number 3 group, like number 3 KvK group here, with 79 being the strongest, lowest coming in at 98. But if we look at troop power, right, you got Boss, I think this is Boss Baby from 97 coming in at 308, 977. I mean, that is, ridiculous. And again, right, he's only about 4 plus K higher than Blink is, I think from 28, if I remember from that server. And if you look pound for pound here, right, 79 to 78, right, again, 5 active alliances, 3, 4, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, right? So this is pretty good, but still kind of trends 3, 2 going downwards towards 7 and 8. You look pound for pound on the top 2 servers here, right, plus 18, plus 14, what is this, plus 26, plus 19, is that plus, yeah, plus 19, and then plus 8 right here at the number 5. Again, lowest troop power here is 203 from 98, strongest being from 97. If you look at 97, though, and you compare for 1, right, again, this is what, plus 37, no, sorry, plus 47 K, right, plus 11, which is actually closer. You got plus, what is this, 8, right, which is actually closer as well, plus 9, and then plus 10, right? So the number 2 through 5 matchups are actually a lot closer, where you could argue that just having kind of good support skill or talk skill customizations could probably win some of those matchups, also depending on what the March to March or element to element comps are. So again, will be interesting to see kind of how this group plays out, right? Because I almost feel like the combined power could maybe put them in the number 1 group if we're kind of gauging it off of that for like combined group power. And maybe we'll do that in another video. But again, that's just interesting to see. Okay, so let's finally get to the last group here, which is group 12. And we have 71, 87, 94, 90, 86, 96, 67, and 99. Okay, so pretty close as well, right? Only a plus 14 million power difference from 71 to 87, 175. You can also see here that in group 12, right, they at least have 2 alliances for the lowest ranked or lowest powered server. Right, but similar trend, 4-5, 4-4, 3-3, 3-2, and I like this, right, because there's more general activity for the active alliances. This is actually something that I like to see, And then if we look at strongest troop power to lowest, right, we got 302 coming in from server 94. I think this is the Castle 50 guy already, if I remember correctly. Lowest troop power is at 212 here from server 96. And then if we do pound for the top two, we have, what is that, 2 plus 227? Yeah, I'm going to go with that. And then we have plus 224, plus 16, plus 17, and then plus, what is that, 21? So definitely going in favor when you're comparing 71 to 87. If we compare 94 with strongest troop power player versus the strongest server in this group, right, you look at this, what is that, plus 39. We have plus 34. Plus 32, plus 24, plus 22, right? So, I mean, again, even if you just look at those numbers, and you can see here 261, this is pretty close to almost being kind of the situations that we saw there in 57 and 38, right? For those two groups, where group 12, right, their number 5 is 261, next strongest is 263. So, again, right, they have the 4 strongest players in this group. And arguably, depending on what the matchup is, the 261 player might even be able to beat out the strongest in 71, depending. Right? But this is still another great group that I think is primed to where, maybe you wouldn't do like a 1-3, but maybe you could do something like a 1-2, 3-4, and then, maybe kind of go like 1-2-5-7, and then you go like 3-4-6-8, something like that, right? If you're kind of going off of troop power just to try and balance the grouping out a little bit more, depending on how the ally KvK diplomacy goes through. But yeah, that's it. So again, that kind of covers our assessment of looking at the 12 groups. Now, I'm going to give you what did I say I was going to give you guys? I was going to give you something, and now I'm having the biggest brain fart on what that was going to be here. I said something like we were going to do combined. Oh, God, what was it? Oh, we're going to compare strongest servers. Okay, so let's look at the groups real quick. This is going to be like the little bonus thing that we do. So let's look. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull up I'm actually going to do this here. So I'm going to pull another tab up for this, but I'm going to move it over here to my other screen, and then we're going to look at the strongest servers, and we'll do a quick comparison. Right, and maybe I'll just add a little field over here to the side. So let's look at strongest servers, right? So when we last calculated it, this was at January 12th. So this was, right, 3 weeks ago? Now let's look. So strongest server, right, was 38, but we're going to look at these ones, right, for this grouping. So let's look at the KvK1 grouping, right? And we'll do this, right? Let's just do this. Top 25, right? This will be interesting to look at, right? We'll just do a little bit of this. We'll do it red, and we'll bold it, and obviously underline so I can be super fancy. Okay, cool. So we'll do, and you know what? We'll just do this purple so it's a little different. Okay, so I'll just do top 25 here, and I'll just put where their ranking is, right? Just to see. So server 26 was ranked at number 14, right? And I'll put this in purple. You know what? Let me do this. Hang on, just to make it a little easier here in case I do anything for this row. Okay. So this is what we're going to do. We'll do purple, we'll do 18, and then we'll do bold. Okay, cool. This should make it a little easier. So you got the number 14, and then let's look at 25. I don't know. I don't think 25 is here. 25. Oh, you know what? Why don't I just do this? Oops. Okay, we'll do this. Yep, no 25. Okay, then we'll do 28. I think 28's on the list. So 28 is number 11. Okay. And then, oops, I did that wrong position. We'll switch this up. And then we got 13, 18, 1, 24, 3. I don't actually think any of these are there. You know what? Let me see if I can just do a quick... Let me see if I can do a quick sort range. This will actually help me go a lot faster. This is what we'll do. I want to do column... Yeah, hang on. We'll do... Oh, yeah, data has header. You know what? Yeah, let's do column B. Okay, cool. This actually works out a lot better. Now I can look at all the servers in order. Okay, so who do we got? 13, 18, 1, 24, 3. 13, 18, 1, 3. That's not there. And then I got 24. And 24 is not there. Okay, cool. So, right, you got 2 servers in the top 25 that are in KvK Group 1. Now let's look at KvK Group 2. All right, this is a little bonus here, but bear with me while we kind of do this in real time. I hope it should go faster now. Okay, so I got, what is this? 249. Nope. All right, then we got, what did I have? 10, 11, 15. Nope. And then we have 10, 15, oh god, 17, 19. No, okay, so there's no top servers here, and that might be just indicative based on the power as well, which I probably could have just inferred that. Okay, now we get here to, and I could probably just go down the list to make it really super easy because it is going off alliance power. So we have server 6 right there. They were at number 4, so we'll do that. And then I have 33, 23. So 23 is number 22. And then 33 is number 13. And then we have 527. Okay, cool. So that covers that. So there's 3 top 25 servers in group 3. None in 2 and 2 in 1. Now let's get to 4. So for 4, number 8, yep, they were number 2. 16 and 21. 16 is number 7. And then we do 21 and 36. Okay, so that's it for them. So 2 there in group 4. Now let's look at group 5. 49, 32. Probably not. Oh, 49 is their number 15. And then, what do we have? 49, 32. Probably not, but 42, 44. And then 31. Okay, no. So there's only 1 top 25 server in group 5. Now let's look at group number 6. So at group 6, we'll start at the top here. So this is going to be with server 40 and 52. 40 is number 6. And then 52, 56. 52 is number 9. And there's no 56. And then 46. 46 is number 19. And then, what did I have? 50 and 55. No, okay. So there's 3 top 25 servers in group 6. Now let's look at group 7. So group 7, I got 38. I'm pretty sure they're here. Yeah, because they're number 1. Okay. Then we have number 45. They're number 5. 54. They're 16. And then we have 29. No. How about 82? No. And then last one is 48. I'll check. Oh, they were. So 48 was... Well, again, this is just based on last data grab, but 48 was number 21. So I'm just gonna again, we're just going off last data here. Okay, so based on this, they have 4 servers in the top 25 from the last data here in KvK Group 7, which means it has the most. Okay, now let's go into KvK Group 8. And here we have, let's start with server 57. And 57 is number 3 here as well. Let me do that. All right, great. And then we have 43 and 47 here. So 43 and 47, they're not on the list. How about 59? Not on the list. Okay, yeah, that's just too low. So 1 top 25 server here in KvK Group 8. Now let's look at 9. 9, we're going to start with 73. 73 was not here. 75, 64. 75 is, and I think that was number 15 they were, 17. And then 64 and 69. Nope. Okay, so it looks like just 1 top 25 server is here in KvK Group 9. And now let's look at KvK Group 10, which has 74 and 66. 74 is number 10. And then we look at 66 and 85. 66 is number 20. And then 85 isn't there. 60, 77, not there. Okay, so the 2 top 25 servers in KvK Group 10. Now we only got 2 left, which now we're looking at server, where am I looking at? Sorry, 79. And they were number 8. On my list, yes. And then we have 78, 97. 78 was number 18. And we have 97, 72. 72 was number 25. And then we get to 95, 91, 88. Okay, yeah. So 3 top 25 servers in KvK Group 11. And then we finally get to the last KvK Group 12 here, which is 71, 87. So 71 was ranked number 12. And then 87 only went up to 80, I think, on these ones. So let's look at 71. Oh, excuse me. I think we already looked at 71. Yeah, let's look at 67. Nope. Okay. So at the moment, only 1 top 25 server in KvK Group 12. So that pretty much rounds out all of our data. I will also, just so everyone knows, I'll be making this document public. I'll probably just put this on a... I don't know, actually. I might just make a separate doc and then just make this public. So you can find a link to that in the description and possibly the pinned comment as well. But that covers everything so far that we have done. I'm at 46 minutes now. This has been a lot where we cover servers 1 through 99, right, minusing just some of the servers. I think it's 95, 96, and like one of the others from what I remember that they didn't have here. God, I can't remember all of them, but there was 3 servers that were missing. So, right, we only covered 96, which makes sense, right? Because again, if you multiply the 8 times 12, right, bam, do some basic math. Okay, that is it. I hope you all enjoyed this video where we break down each group, give you how the matchups look, give you a special piece of extra data that we pulled in real time here at the end. And really what I would love to hear from you is let me know how you think your group is matching up. If you know some allies that are already forming, right, we'd love to hear that. Let us know in the comments. How do you feel IK did as well on the group matchups? My opinion is I actually think they did a decent job when we look at the number of active alliances and the overall alliance power. Right, I think they did the best job they could with 96 servers, right, only to pull from. Again, right, it's never going to be perfect, right, because you really just need like 1,000 servers, right, essentially to really have the margins be a lot closer together when you're looking at those. And that, of course, I hope will be something that happens over time. But I will say I am pleasantly surprised to see that there is some consistency, right? There is some data trends that we can look at and discern on how they went about doing groupings. But I still want to know what you think. Do you agree? Do you disagree with that? And anything else that you enjoyed us covering from this big kind of KvK2 season group review, right? And everything that we put into it, right? This took me probably about 2 hours, 2+ hours of time just going straight in and pulling data. So again, I'd love to know what you guys think. Any and every thoughts, let me know in those comments down below. That is it for me. And as always, until next time, we will catch y'all later.